What is up, gang? Tex and Ads here with you. Another Monday night UTG update. Thank you to all the love that we've been experiencing on our YouTube videos as of late. We did a bit of a run through on our Unicorn indicator, this monster beast thing that we created seemingly out of nowhere that a lot of people are really enjoying. So thank you so much for all the feedback on that. Lots of new content coming from us over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that little bell icon, and get updates every single time that we go live here at UTG, and for lots of new content coming from us in the next little bit. So remember as well, jump into the show notes too, unitytradinggroup.com, all our free guides. We'll put links into our Tradingview account now as well. We've got a few freebie indicators in there that we've released, an RSI indicator, fan indicator, a couple of other ones as well, which you can get access to by jumping into the comments below there. So BTC, we had a little bit of a pullback after that run up. And you can see on our chart, nothing has really changed from last week where we put our Fibonacci extension tool on, because we are heading into price discovery mode on BTC. Once we hit past that all-time high, we want to see these, I guess, these hidden levels of support and resistance moving forward, because there's no structure to the left to give us an indication of how high we head and where we might find levels for pullbacks or re-entry. So as we can see, we sort of had that pullback from that 60 sort of 6, almost 67K level. We pulled back. Could it have potentially been a little bit of a fake out? Well, I think we really want to see a new higher high being formed, because even though that one that we had there, whether you call that a double bottom or a very slight higher high on the daily time frame, it's still our indicators still in pretty oversold mode. Ads. It's a little bit uncertain at the moment, I think.
We've really satisfied, the overbought condition on the steamroller indicator. So whether or not we see a retest, just like we happened here. So we had our first test of the overbought condition, and then we came back for a second go at it. And this is probably how it's going to play here. It looks very similar in the way it's, structuring itself, So we could see a, potential move to the upside. And when I say upside, I probably would... it'd probably be a little bit more appropriate if we brought up the 4-hour time frame and actually, had a look in terms of where we're really sitting in terms of a swing level, or a level of supply rather. Because to me, it's sitting around this area here at 65,600 is probably going to be the area of most interest to me when it comes to a swing. You can really see the validity of that pivot point that was printed on the 4-hour time frame. It's really only present on this time frame because of the way the daily structure is looking at the moment. So if we do come up and retest that level, that will satisfy the area in terms of our steamroller indicator when it comes to the 4-hour time frame. But not only that, we will retest and give us that second touch on the overbought condition on our steamroller indicator on the daily time.
100%, yeah. And these are the times where you can, typically when BTC wasn't doing a great deal, or when we were limited for data, we weren't really looking at the daily time frame so much. But now it's certainly something that I'm looking at a lot more, as I'm holding positions for a little bit longer. I'm not rushing into so many positions. I was jumping in and out of ETH a little bit over the last week or so. I've sort of slowed that down a touch now, because I really want to see what BTC does here at this point. But as we know, long term, BTC in Q4 typically does quite well leading into the Christmas period. So if you're someone who's a little bit uncertain, you certainly can, as we always say, employ a dollar cost averaging strategy, or you can certainly just err on the side of patience and wait till something's a little bit more confirmed, and then make your decision to jump in on any entries.
Absolutely, my friend. And that really sums up BTC and what we really think about it so far. Like Tidy mentioned, we haven't really seen any differences. The only thing I can really see, I don't know if you would call this valid, but it looks pretty valid to me when it comes to a head and shoulders formation when it comes to the 4-hour time frame. I'm not saying it's going to play out. It's just one to keep on your radar. That was terrible for an arrow. There we go. In the right direction. But that might be something just to keep an eye on if we don't, end up reaching this supply again. But we'll see how we go over the course of this week.
And admittedly, I didn't even see that. So that's the beauty of trading with different people, guys. You get different perspectives, and when people are seeing different things, that you might not always see, it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, really good point, man. I didn't even notice that. That's killer.
It's not great, but it is there. So just one to keep on your radar. And if we don't push through this fib level, which is around 63,500 thereabouts, it would be concerning that this pattern would be playing out on the 4-hour. We'll see.
Yeah, totally. All right, FUSD, my favorite. Which I literally just posted in the chart a moment ago, and we can see that last week we put on this last Tuesday, I think it was, we put on this arrow formation because we were looking for almost a little bit of a fractal play out of where it was beforehand, a run up, a pull back to the 38 or the golden pocket zone, and continuation back up towards supply. And that's pretty much where we sit at the moment. I'm actually seeing things just very, very slightly different that I posted inside the Discord just a moment ago. Oop. Something like that, where I'm looking for a little bit of a triangle formation to play out 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on, let me get rid of that. We'll go, so it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm looking for a move and a potential retest of this diagonal before a continued move to the upside. And on the 4-hour time frame, we're not looking so bad. We had a little bit of divergence here, which a hidden divergence at this spot, which we've got on our RSI indicator. But I'm not putting too much weight on that at the moment because, as I mentioned, even though ETH has been having its little runs outside of BTC movements, I'm still overall cautious on BTC. So on any of my spot buys, I'm simply just moving my stops up. We haven't had too many dramatic wicks to the downside since this one here. So I'm kind of just playing cautiously at the moment on ETH ads.
Yeah, and if you're not, I'm sorry to spruik it, but if you're not using the RSI indicator, come on, you have to be. Look at that. Look at those bottoms there on the 50. That is fantastic when it comes to the media. Such a simple thing to employ, the 50 median average for the RSI, but it's so valid and it plays out so nicely. But anyway, I see exactly the same thing. You can see, that pattern playing out where it comes to that diagonal there, looking for a break to the upside. That could retest our level of supply as we have drawn in there. But really waiting for that break, as Ty did mention. There's nothing much more to really say or to add, Ty. Summed it up beautifully.
Well, there may just be a little RSI strat video coming very shortly that involves our divergence free RSI indicator, mind you. We'll put the link to that free RSI indicator in the show notes below. But some little bit of high level strategy stuff coming in the next week or so from Team UTG involving that RSI. So if you want to learn how to spot moves before they potentially happen, to identify strength of a trend, go to our Unity Trading Group profile, go to the script tab, and there is a free RSI tool there. It is yours 100% free because we're just such good guys. I want to have a look now at LTC. And I got asked a question the other day. I don't know whether I repeated myself from last week. Someone said, what sort of alt or what do you, and this is not to LTC, but more so back to the BTC pair on ETH and even sometimes Doge as well, because we see it pop before other things. But someone said, what do you use to gauge the strength of alt moves or the overall alt moves? One, of course, it's BTC dominance, but also I like to have a look at the BTC pairs on whether it be LTC and ETH as well to gauge what they're doing if they're making bottoms, because often when I see ETH BTC continue to run to the upside, and the BTC LTC pair, the USD pairs will often make a little bit of a move as well. So make sure you're not just looking at alts as a whole. You're looking at BTC dominance. You're looking at BTC as its own sort of indicator of where alts may be heading in the future ads.
Yeah, exactly. But LTC, the immediate term. Where can we expect it to go? I've just charted up what I'm seeing at the moment. What we charted up last week didn't play out quite as perfectly, but with LTC, could see another movement to the upside. It does look okay. We are completing, a downward spiraling trend when it comes to the market cycle. So that looks okay for a sweep to the upside. We need to hold this level, however, when it comes to this liquidity at 190.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, that, as we said, I think I said last week when we were up around that, I don't know what level we're at. I honestly can't remember. I think it may have been around I said that 196 to
Mm.
sort of 186 level was going to be the one of interest for myself, which aligns really well with that demand zone. So I really want to see this current level hold from an MA's perspective. Again, there may or may not be something coming on MA's very shortly, so hold tight for that one. But from an MA standpoint, we're still sitting above our 10 and 20 moving average, and we don't really have too much of an indication of any dramatic moves to the downside yet coming on the daily time frame. So again, that's still very much BTC dependent. But for LTC, again, I wouldn't be jumping into any positions until BTC gives me a confirmation, because we know
100%.
how closely correlated LTC and BTC is. So again, you might want to err on the side of patience and wait for a confirmation. But at least on the 4-hour time frame, there's nothing there yet telling me that we're making any moves to the upside, with the exception of that formation that ads has there, which is that falling wedge pattern.
I'm more than happy to be wrong, mate. I'm more than happy to be wrong. If we head down, it would just create more buying opportunity when it comes down to this level in terms of our demands to really shoot for. So that's fine. Like, it's, if we're heating on the side of caution, that is absolutely good with me, because we have, absorbed most of this level of demand already. So if we come back down and retest this zone, it's probably a certainty, or close to. Nothing's ever a certainty, but it is close to. If we, if we break this level, the rules do dictate that we'll move down to the next one.
Yeah, and if we broke that formation, that's definitely something that or broke that formation to the upside, I'd be confident with that, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, it's great to have differing opinions on what we see, and to agree on many things. But LTC, let's just see what happens. It hasn't necessarily been the major focus on my radar at the moment. But we know from our TA from a couple of weeks ago, I think, that our point of control from memory sits at around $181. So really, in my opinion, anything above that $181 zone is looking okay to me.
On the note of BTC ruining alt trades, let's take a look at the dominance.
Yeah, for sure. And I find myself at times actually not paying as much attention to that as what I should. So for you as a trader, the BTC dominance is measuring the strength of BTC against everything else. It's showing the dominance of BTC, and you can certainly get a good predictor of what's to come for BTC based on this BTC.D dominance chart, which you can type into TradingView at the top left-hand corner there. Ads, what are we seeing at the moment?
On the daily time frame, when it comes to the market dominance for BTC, there's a lot of upside potential. Just putting it out there, because we do have an absolute huge drop from 60%, and there's nothing in between us at 50 and us at 60. So if we do, end up coming up here and retesting the top side when we come to 50, that would be an area of interest or concern, whichever side that you're playing on at the moment. But when it comes to where we're going in the immediate term, I would probably use fibs to determine that on probably a lower time frame than daily, but that's fine, because when it comes down to what we're looking at currently, it's playing out as it usually does, where we have a push and then a pullback to the 38, and then we could see at least here, I guess, again, but the next level above it at 49.3 is probably going to be the next area of interest for me if we do continue to the upside. But of course, heeding the area of caution, because we do have a overbought condition on the steamroller. However, contradicted by the 50 bounce on the RSI, as highlighted there by Ty. But so if we're not looking at one, we're definitely looking at the other. But when it comes down to the dominance chart, it's something that you do want to keep on your radar, because it is going to ruin your day if you're too heavily in alts and this thing decides to run to the upside.
100%. And that's what's so great about many forms of confluence, or giving you a confirmation of what you're looking at. You might see That damn phone! I got to turn that alarm off. It spoils every single update, doesn't it? Yeah, you know, when you put so much weight on RSI, you know you're paying attention to that. You know, you've got Steamroller telling you one thing, Fibs telling you one thing, and RSI telling you one thing. So when it's coming to a point where you're a little bit confused, you know, look towards your trading strategy and what things are giving you more of a confirmation and more of what are debating against what your TA is telling you. So as we said a number of times, sometimes when it comes to some of the oscillators, they can remain in that sort of overbought territory for a little bit of time. So I think what ads has there is very valid, and I would put a little bit of weight on that RSI for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, just because one thing doesn't line up doesn't mean the rest can't or the rest are invalid. You can still, like Ty did mention, put weight on your trading strategy as a whole when it comes down to it. Because if you use supply and demand the way it was originally supposed to be used without indicators, you're looking at this movement where we have a movement from our demand to supply. That is really all we're looking at. So yeah, as it comes down to it, over the next week or two, it's probably going to take a little bit more than that, let's be honest, but we might see that 50 BTC dollars, that 50% again.
100%. Yeah, it's a very interesting time for trading at the moment. We're seeing a few things pop sort of left, right, and center.
Yeah.
I did a video today on Sam Bankman-Fried and Alameda Research and the coins that they're investing in, or the projects that they're investing in that have coins. So Serum, Sol, Ren. I'd highly encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and have a little bit of a look at that. But if you've got your investor cap on and you're looking for long-term holds, or you're looking for projects that have merit, that's a really good video for you to take a little bit of a look at when it comes to altcoins, because so often we can just jump into shit coins and hope for millions, like SHIB, for example,
Yeah.
or you can look at altcoins with real strength. Like for me, it's FTT, it's Serum. Again, it's Sol as well. And we spoke about the strength of Sol and how undoubtedly quick it would move when alt started recovering, and we've absolutely seen that. So if you're struggling to understand what altcoins to trade, then look at ones with actual fundamentals behind them rather than just looking for every sort of moon coin and shit to play out like that. So I'm not sure if you want to have a look at anything else, but I think that might wrap it up, unless we've got something else we want to have a look at. I think we didn't put out the call tonight for requests inside the Discord, but sorry if there was something that you want us to have a look at. But as we said, lots of content coming from Team UTG in the next couple of weeks. So stick around, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that alert icon so you get these updates every time that we push out new material. And of course, keep your eyes out for everything that we do here at UTG and for more invites to the Discord ads.
When do you want to open it, my friend?
Very soon. Stick around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and in the next one of the next videos, we will announce the reopening for a limited time on our Discord. Yeah,
Absolutely.
done. All right, guys. Thank you so much. UnityTradingGroup.com. Look forward to seeing you in the next market update.
All right. Bye bye.